bonus coming in. They got to score 3 goals in the next 30 minutes though, but that's possible with this horrible Dortmund defense. Holy crap!
You good?
Yeah, I'm not watching the game. Yeah, I'm good.
Welcome to Sports Banner. This is Bryce. I'm joined by Luca and Calvin.
Hello.
This is gonna be a problem.
Yo.
Yeah, excuse my voice. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about with free agency. First thing we're talking about is Dak Prescott signing with the Cowboys. 4 years, $160 million. Jeez, highest non-Mahomes paid quarterback in the NFL by $4 million. He's making $4 million more than Deshaun Watson. So what do y'all think about that?
So 126 million of it is guaranteed. It's a no trade clause, no tag clause, 66 million signing bonus. It's insane for Dak Prescott. Yeah? Like, the Cowboys must be out of their minds. Nothing against Dak Prescott. He's a good quarterback. He deserves to be starting for he deserves to be starting for the Cowboys. He deserves to. I could see him in the starting quarterback for a lot of teams. He's a talented player, but he's not worth this kind of money. This team needs to focus on getting better options in almost every other position, because I'm pretty sure Dak Prescott would have signed for way less money, in my opinion. But good for him. Whatever he said or did to get this kind of deal is amazing. It's beautiful for him. But if I'm the Cowboys, why am I doing this deal? It's not like they're gonna win the Super Bowl next year. And if they do, then dang. But I don't think they will.
Yeah, I saw a post on Twitter that was asking if you didn't want to sign Dak Prescott to this huge deal, are there any free agents that you would sign? And I think my answer to that was taking the list of QBs available in the draft and showing it, because I think Dak Prescott's an amazing player, but I don't think that he is worth $160 million. Who knows? This could end up working out for the Cowboys, but I think that's way too much money to put into one player, whether it's Dak Prescott or anybody else. So I think they would have been better off looking for another quarterback, or at least trying to get less, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously they tried to get less. I'd honestly like to hear how these talks went, because they were trying to get a deal done for a while. So you got to think that they went down a little bit from what the original offer was. So I'm wondering, like, what Dak's original proposal was. Like, how did these talks shape up? I mean, where did they start at and where did they end?
All right. Well, I'm taking the side that this isn't the stupidest decision I've ever heard of. All right. This was actually kind of fair. As expensive as it was, were you really going to trust the Cowboys to draft another quarterback and get it right? They got lucky enough with Dak that they drafted him so late and he got so good. And when you draft these kind of rookies and there's no guarantee that they'll be good. Look at Carson Wentz. Look at Jared Goff to a certain extent. They're not as they were drafted to be. So in Prescott, you pretty much know what you're getting. I mean, let's not forget before he got injured. 3 of his 4 full games, he had over 450 yards with a terrible defense. But, now that they have signed Prescott and that there's no more questions as to his status on the team, they can focus their draft capital and the rest of the little money that they have left on defense. And I think the only way that this really fails is coaching, because the coaching is still not fixed. It's still a bad culture, as you saw last season when you had players just complaining about this coaching staff in its first year. You never see that.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to clarify. I don't think that signing Dak again is a bad idea. I think that going for a QB in the draft would have been the wrong decision, but it's just another alternative, I think, to spending $160 million on one player for 4 years, maybe 6.
Yeah, no, well, if I didn't say this is what I mean. He's a good quarterback. He deserves to be on this team, but I'm not paying him $160 million for 4 years. For me, if I'm control of that money, I'm not giving him that much.
But it's probably best for the
You-
Cowboys that they've got
Yeah.
that, that stability. So, I mean, as Bryce said,
Yeah.
it's as much as we can say, oh, maybe they shouldn't have spent that much. In the long term, they've got a good quarterback under helm. They just need to fix everything else going on in that franchise.
Yeah.
Specifically,
That's
the
true,
coaching.
Yeah.
It was either spending all that money on him or completely losing him for nothing. So like
True.
they had to make
you're not
that
wrong.
sacrifice to keep him around.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next transaction, the Tennessee Titans tackle, former first-round pick this past year, Isaiah Wilson, was traded to the Miami Dolphins. You really don't have a lot of information on him because he's only played like 4 snaps this past year. He's had a rough time with injuries and COVID and just playing time in general.
So, you're right. He has been injured in Corona, but I think he has an attitude problem too.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like he didn't even want to play for the Titans. What's wrong with the Titans? They're not that trash. You're just out of college, man. You should take any time you get to play. That's how I see it. I think of the little we've seen of him, he'll probably be fine at the Dolphins. I don't know. This could be the GM's fault at the Titans for sort of screwing this up with him. That could be it. But at the same time, I gotta get this jab in. Wilson's a former UGA player, so what do you expect from him? So
Yeah, he's an interesting case because he showed a lot of promise on the draft board. A lot of teams had him pretty high. So you can't fault the Titans for taking him, but the player that he's turned into, it's crazy how different he was when he got to the facility. I mean, even from day one, he was out of shape when he got to the facility. He didn't really seem to put in a lot in practice. He was on the COVID list twice during the season. He was at parties. He had issues with the law. I mean, he had so many things going against him that were all self-induced for the most part. And so, as you said, it seems like it's a lot of an attitude problem if he's willing to put in the work. And changing from Nashville to Miami, I mean, I don't know if that's going to be that might not be the best change for his attitude, but maybe the culture change. Maybe Brian Flores as a coach is going to be able to turn him around. But I think that it all comes down to whether he's willing to put in the work to be an NFL player, because he has the skills if he's willing to work, but it's just a matter of if he will or not. So I think I honestly, if things stay the way they are, I'd say that the Titans win this trade because they just offloaded an $11 million contract. Granted, it was for 4 years, so they're saving like $2.5 million a year, but still, they just offloaded that contract for a trade up in 7th round picks, or a trade back in 7th round picks, I think.
Yeah. As for right now, I don't see a big winner or big loser because it's just so unknown. Isaiah Wilson hasn't really played in the pros for us to really tell if it's really a good trade. I see on the Titans, obviously he was kind of a cancer to the team if he's acting like that as a rookie. But at the same time, if he really shows up for the Dolphins, it's a steal for the Dolphins. So
yeah,
we'll just have to see. It's not something that I think that can be like judged immediately. It's a we'll see kind of thing and see how it all plays out and how Wilson reacts to this trade.
Yeah.
So next, Las Vegas Raiders tackle Trent Brown traded back to the New England Patriots. The Patriots spent a 2022 5th-round pick to get Trent Brown back to the New England Patriots, and also at the same time, they restructured his contract to be worth $11 million. I don't know what it was before, but he's on a 1-year deal now worth $11 million. I don't think we have anything to say about that.
Just good to see the big.
I mean, it could be good. Hasn't he been having a few injuries over the past couple of years?
I
but
think
when
so.
he's healthy, he looks solid. So I mean, this is a good add-on for the Patriots, I think.
Yeah, and I think he really reached his peak. Like, he was playing at his best football on the Patriots. So now being back on the Patriots, I think he could thrive back in that system.
Yeah.
Now, onto the main thing with this is our franchise tags. A lot of people are getting franchise tagged. people might be getting franchise tagged even after this video comes out, so it could as well be outdated already, but we're trying our best here. So, first athlete that we want to talk about, this happened about a week ago. Justin Simmons franchise tagged, the safety for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, if I'm the Broncos, I'm franchise tagging him. I'm hoping I can get him to sign a good contract. He's good enough. He's been great for the Broncos. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think any team that had the cap space would have done that. I mean, personally, I was hoping my team would sign him. I mean, that was just, he is such a good player, and on a rookie contract, I mean, it was kind of a dream come true. So I think they really needed to get him a franchise tag.
We let him finish out, and then we get him.
Easy.
That's what I say.
I mean, he had a heck of a season last season. 80 solo tackles, 5 interceptions. His tag is only for $13.7 million. Since he got tagged last year, his price is a little higher. And according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, I butchered that, Ian Rappaport, Simmons and the Broncos are looking for a long-term deal. So, yikes to you Browns fans. Next, we're talking about another safety tagged, Marcus Maye for the New York Jets.
Again, pretty much the same with Justin Simmons, but I don't necessarily think he's as good as Simmons, but he's been good there. So if I'm the team, I want to keep him. So yeah, pretty much the same thought process to me.
Yeah, I don't have anything on him.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. What's up?
Can I hit you with some breaking news?
Are you talking about
Levante David has signed a 2-year? Yeah, he signed a 2-year extension just now, $25 million.
Yeah, I actually had that pulled up on my phone so I don't forget.
I just saw that just happen, so I was like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Yeah, cool.
Dude, I like that. But with Marcus Maye, Pro Football Focus has him rated better than Justin Simmons this past season. So, like, they are actually watching the games and, like, focusing in on the players. So, I'm not gonna...
Who said I'm not? Yeah.
But his contract's only $10.5 million since this is the first time he's being tagged. I think he's really replaced Jamal Adams very well for this team. So, yeah, to bring him back another year, I think it's a good move for the Jets. Next on the list, we have Brandon Scherff, the offensive guard for the Washington football team. As a Bengals fan, I'm very disappointed to read this out loud because I think the Bengals really could have benefited from a guy like Brandon Scherff.
This is apparently the second time they put Scherff on a franchise tag. I don't know. He's good. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, one of the better offensive guards going into free agency. I think the best now offensive guard that's going to be on the board is Joe Thuney, which the Patriots announced that they wouldn't franchise tag him. So he's going to be hitting the open market about next week.
Interesting. All right, who else we got?
All right. On the defensive line, the New York Giants just retained Leonard Williams, tagging him for a second time.
Yeah. I would do it too. He's good.
Yeah, 11.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss. I mean, I think that'll earn you another year. Next, we have Taylor Moton, offensive tackle for the Carolina Panthers. This dude, let me talk about this dude real quick. All right, he had a little over 1,000 offensive snaps. He only allowed 3 sacks and 2 penalties in all of those snaps. Pro Football Focus rates him
good.
at 81.2 out of 100. And he's only earning $13.6 million. Again, this is another guy that I thought, man, the Bengals could really use this guy on their offensive line. But the Panthers did the smart thing in this situation. locked him up for another year. And anything else to add? Anyone?
Not really. I mean, again, I would want him too. So yeah.
All right, this next one's kind of confusing me. Cam Robinson, offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, this is the one guy I don't know if I would have tagged this on this list.
I think I'm not really familiar with him, but I think the Jaguars did this because they believe in him. That might sound stupid, but they're taking a little bit of a risk, and they're really hoping he's going to pay off. He's only 25. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Okay, so like my thought process here, when I saw this report from Ian Rappaport, he said it was a shock to him, and kind of the first reason that he kind of threw out there was prioritizing protection for Trevor Lawrence, which I know in theory it's not a terrible idea, but this guy isn't really that good to be earning $13.6 million for the year.
Well,
I mean,
Dak Prescott's making $160 million over 4 years, so I don't think anything matters now when it comes to money.
but I mean, at least Dak Prescott has some talent going for him.
He's good.
He's good. I don't know if
Wow. So you're
Cam
saying
Robinson
Cam? So you're saying if you're on 1v1 with Cam Robinson playing a game, you're beating him or something?
No. That's not what I'm saying.
6'6", 320 pounds.
I'd get bodied.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
I don't know.
I think you could spend money a little better. I mean, you could replace the offensive tackle position a little easier than quarterback.
I agree.
You might be right, but it might be, again, a bit of a cop-out answer, but maybe something we don't know about. Maybe he's important to the team, like, locker room spirit kind of guy. I don't know. Unsung hero. I don't know. I'm trying to protect this dude. Trying to defend him.
You Jacksonville fan or something?
Hey, AEW, I gotta be, I guess.
Double or nothing.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Next.
We got Chris Godwin.
Yeah, that's like,
That's
you don't even have to talk about it. Yeah, no, yeah.
That's a huge one. Yeah,
Except
good for him. I know he
won't
wanted to
talk
stay in
about it.
Tampa.
Yeah. You love to see it.
What?
I mean, Chris Godwin, he was definitely I guess he was the number 2 receiver. I don't know about Antonio Brown.
Oh,
I mean,
man, I'm
all-
looking
No,
at this. I
Chris-
can't believe
Chris-
that Super Bowl ended 31-9.
I
Such a weird
thought
stat line to
Chris
look at.
Godwin. What are you saying? Are you trying to say who was the main receiver at the Bucks?
Yeah, because it's like you got the three-way head between
It was Godwin.
Evans, Godwin, and Antonio Brown.
I'd say it was Godwin.
Yeah, I mean, choose
I
your
don't know.
poison.
Then again, he was out for a lot of weeks with. Yeah, he was. To be fair, in the normal season, he was out a lot of weeks with that pinky injury or whatever.
And he still had 840 yards and 7 touchdowns. Like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, bring him back for $16 million. That's fine. I mean,
It's a no-brainer if you're the Bucks. You try to get a contract.
and I wrote down before that it was interesting that they tagged Godwin and not, of course, at the time Levante David wasn't re-signed and Shaquille Barrett. So you got to think that Shaq Barrett's gonna have a deal for him if the Bucks are gonna franchise tag Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll have to see on that one. But the next guy we're talking about, Allen Robinson. I think
another good tag.
I think this one was one of the smarter tags.
No comment.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have to say much about it.
Yeah.
But I will. 100 receptions, 1,250 yards, 6 touchdowns. Pro Football Focus rates him at 88.4. Absolute beast of a man. If I were any team that had money, I would have thrown money at him because he's just so good. He's just been on terrible teams.
Would you take him at the Saints?
If we had money, yeah. He's better than everyone there besides Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
He might be better than Michael Thomas. Shh.
Anyways, speaking of the Saints,
You're right. Speaking of the Saints, the final franchise taggee, Marcus Williams. Now, I'll be completely honest. I don't know how the Saints are doing this. I don't know. Mickey Loomis is just... He's going to have some trouble figuring out the cap. Because we can't be doing this. I mean, his contract's only for $10.5 million. But that's a lot of money in 1 year. And we're trying to get under the cap. But he's a good safety, and I'm glad that the Saints think they have a way to keep him. I'm sure it'll work out. And any comment?
Yeah, I think I just think it'll work out. Yeah, I think he's a good player. So like, yeah, I would like to see him in the Browns too. But I mean, if I'm the Saints, yeah, I would have done anything possible to try to keep him. So it makes sense.
That's a shame. 3 safeties franchise tagged this year. Like, I don't even know who's left, to be honest. But
you know, Joe.
And
yeah, Joe.
I'm not taking.
You got anybody else who's franchise tagged?
No. But we'll mention a lot of the ones that weren't franchise tagged.
Okay, I got this actually.
Yeah, you get it.
So there's a couple of players on the Steelers that we could talk about here, but the first one I'll go with is Bud Dupree. It was reported that he is not going to get the franchise tag.
I think they need the money.
I mean,
I guess.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say.
Where do you see him at?
All I'm gonna say is that all the Steelers fans, when they got beat in those like 4 or 5 of those last games, were like, "Oh, well, we needed Dupree. He was out. That's why we lost." And they just let him go. So he must be pretty good, right? Right? If that's the reason they lost.
Or they could be resigning him to an extension.
That too. That
Well,
could happen.
okay. Hang on. They put him on franchise tag last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
If that means anything.
And it's a little
So-
more if you try and franchise tag him again. See, that's the thing that Dak ran into the past 2 years, is that they kept franchise tagging him. So they had to re-sign Dak to a long-term extension so that they don't pay him like, well, I mean, kind of, just because they got the new extension out, the cap is a little more flexible. Like, if you had to keep Dak on a franchise tag, you'd be getting like all that money in 1 year, and you would not be flexible with moving that kind of money at all. So that's why they kind of had to do it with him. But yeah, I think maybe Bud Dupree gets an extension. Who knows? I mean, I think he's a solid player. So whoever like can afford him. It's really hard for all these teams to afford these players this year because of COVID really knocking down the salary cap.
You're right. But yeah, no, he deserves to play. I mean, hopefully, like, if this makes any sense, I hope he has a job. So
I mean, it makes sense.
He'll end up somewhere.
All right, another player on the Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster
You
is
love talking about the Steelers.
I do. Reportedly on the
Dude
Steelers
likes talking
website.
about this. You like talking about the Steelers more than you do the Browns.
Oh, there's not much to talk about with the Browns yet, is there?
True.
But according to the Steelers reporters on the Steelers website, it is very unlikely that the Steelers are going to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster. So that means that he will hit the open market when all the other players do, and he might be moving. So that
I'm gonna
could be
give
an
you 3
interesting
teams.
move. Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna give you 3 teams. You say if any of them you think is gonna happen. Just don't give me like long explanations. Just a yes or no. Dolphins.
Ooh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Could happen.
Okay. Ravens.
No.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Bryce.
It could happen. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously anything could happen.
they need
but
it. They could use a receiver.
True.
If
okay, last one.
How about
Cardinals.
If I were the Ravens,
Okay,
no.
Bryce.
If I were the Ravens, no.
Okay. What about the last one, Cardinals?
Ooh,
Yeah, yeah.
I think the Cardinals and the Dolphins. Yeah, Ravens is sort of up in the air for me.
Honestly, if I were the Cardinals, I'd do it. Like, straight up, just do it.
But the funny thing is, I don't know if he'll go. For me, the most likely team is low-key the Dolphins. I don't know why, but I just keep thinking he's going to go to the Dolphins.
I don't know. You know, Juju Smith-Schuster historically has been most
Yeah, I
effective
know.
when he's had a very talented receiver opposite of him. You know, when Antonio Brown was in Pittsburgh, that's when Juju Smith-Schuster hit his peak. So that's why I'm visualizing how if he goes to Arizona, he could thrive because of the amount of attention DeAndre Hopkins is going to get.
True.
If he's on the Dolphins, he's just a
Ooh.
one-man show at receiver.
But imagine he actually does well there, and that shows how good he is.
And that's
maybe.
that's good for him. I think a wide receiver
Yeah.
that I want to talk about that didn't get franchise tagged was Kenny Golladay. I've talked about him a couple weeks ago here on the channel, and I don't know why.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess the Lions really want to move on from him, but a tag and trade would have been a little better for the Lions, so that they could have gotten something out of Golladay.
yeah, I think he's a good player. He'll
And,
probably have a
and
good market.
Galladay's, he said near the beginning of the season too that he wants to stay there. He wants to be with the Lions. Maybe something happened after that,
I tell
but
you,
yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Golladay on the Dolphins would have me excited.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I feel like everybody right now that's a free agent is like, oh, to the Dolphins.
True, because the Dolphins, I feel like, is the most flexible team. Like, you can imagine a lot of players there for some reason. I don't know.
They have a lot of needs and they have a lot of money.
Yeah, that must be it, I
Yeah.
guess. But I think this is, again, he's good enough. He'll be somewhere. But this is a lot more interesting with the Lions. They have Goff's contract now, and they don't really have a lot of cap space. Is that why? I know. Are they just doing a long-term rebuild?
Look,
Like, what is this?
In
I don't
Lions-
know.
in
The Lions have been a
Lions
mess
land-
for a while.
I don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, there's no logic to be applied here. It's just hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Oh, okay, that's what they're doing today.
Ah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
I don't know which one I'd rather be with, the Lions or the Texans. Both are mistakes in their own ways.
Yeah.
Houston's a lot cooler than Detroit in my opinion. So probably the Texans.
Who knows?
Yeah,
The Lions
I
might be
agree.
working on a long-term extension.
Yeah, there's no state income tax in Texas, so that's my
There's
answer.
no state income tax. There's no state income tax in Tennessee, just letting you know.
Ooh.
Anyways,
What in the world? Hey, the Detroit
was
Lions
that
have
it?
$12 million in cap space available. Just
Oh
saying.
my gosh.
They can sign people. They can, do something at receiver. The highest paid receiver right now is Geronimo Allison. Who?
That sounds like you just.
I was about to say.
It sounds like you
no
really
idea who that is.
butchered the name Geronimo.
Yeah,
Geronimo Stilton.
I don't know who he is, but yeah. Okay, the Detroit Lions, whatever. Anyways, that is actually all we have for this video.
Right, yeah, that's all we got. All right, cool.
If y'all want more
All
sports, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And until next week, we will see you all later.